citizen, kingdom citizen, yeah, yeah, kingdom citizen of Wisconsin. Kingdom citizen, yeah, yeah, kingdom citizen. Blessings, everybody. Blessings, and welcome to Kingdom Citizens of Wisconsin. And I am your host, Dr. David D. King, and I am so grateful to have each and every one of you with us tonight. We want to welcome YouTube. We want to welcome LinkedIn. We want to welcome Twitter, and we want to welcome Rumble. And I'm excited now that we are on Apple, Spotify. We are on iHeartRadio and Amazon Audible. So, and a couple of more sites that we are on. So I'm excited about that for us being on. And as you guys come on in, make sure you share it with someone. I'm excited to be with you guys so we can have this conversation tonight. It's a conversation that I believe that we need to have tonight, and I just want people to know that we have to have. Sometimes it's good to have some good, healthy conversations. Sometimes it is good. So let's get the house keeping in order right quick, and then we're going to go into tonight in this beautiful snowstorm that we are dealing with, ice storm in Milwaukee. It is a brutal out there. So while we all locked in on the inside, I think it's time we have a conversation that we can just talk about some things. So let's start off with the housekeeping. The book, Why It Is Important to Stay in the Middle from a Kingdom Perspective, is now in 18 states. 18 states where our goal is to get them in all the states, but we are in 18 right now. And if you would like a copy, you can just call us at 414-676-0842. That's 414-676-0842. And we're still taking volunteers for Brewers, the Milwaukee Brewers baseball game. We are going to be working all 81 games. You don't have to work all 81 games, but if you would like to help out Kingdom Ecclesia Academy, then give us a call at 414-676-0842. That's 414-676-0842 or 414-899-2688, 414-899-2688. And if you are having some problems co-parenting, we would like to help you make better decisions and try to make it work with you and your significant other, that the child can have both parents in this life. Give us a call at Kingdom Ecclesia. That's 414-585-9511. That's 414-585-9511. And tomorrow night, introduction of the Kingdom Summit. We will be starting at 6 p.m. on Zoom live. We have 100 spots. We got people all over that is going to be on. So first come, first serve. If you want in, all you got to do is go to my Facebook page, and there's the flyer, and then you can get the number and to let you in into the Zoom for the summit. We have 100 seats. We got people all over Illinois, Africa that is going to be on this call, people from North Carolina. So you might want to get you a spot. The first 100 will be allowed into the summit. There's no cost. So for more information, you can call 414-676-0842. Amen. So now that we got the housekeeping out of the way, let us get busy. Let's get started. Let's see who's here. Oh, Pinecone County is here. We're going to make that a whole county, and I'm going to come and be the mayor of Pinecone. So you guys, we're just grateful that you guys are with us. Brother Russ is here with us. God bless you, sir. We thank you guys for being here. So let's start off with tonight, because there's a lot of things that I want to talk about tonight. So let's start off with the election on yesterday. The election on yesterday was very interesting from in Milwaukee, from the automatic districts, people that we thought was going to make it through the primary didn't make it, to the Supreme Court race. There was people that we was hoping that came out. We was hoping that Darrow and Kelly both came out of the primary, but we only ended up with one. And I know how a lot of people are feeling, but what I want to say is there's two things that you guys need to consider in this April election. It is this right here, which is the United States Constitution and the Wisconsin Constitution, because your rights is at stake in this election in April. Your person might not have won, but your rights is still up for grabs. And it all depends on how we vote in April. It's going to determine the outcome of your rights. I hear people always talking about rights. I hear people talking about freedom. I hear people talking about they're stealing our rights. So here's a chance that they're not going to steal our rights, but what we're about to end up doing is giving our rights away. If we sit out in April, like we set out in November, we're turning over our rights. Right now, we have the majority. Right now, we really don't have to worry about it because we have the majority and our rights are safe. We lose the majority, then you're going to start losing rights. You're going to see things that has transpired that is going to deal with that. For example, this book right here is called The Original Intent, okay? And in the original intent, I'm going to just read something because I want people that are believers, those of you that really are believers, that really say they go to church, I just want to read a couple of things to you because I want you to see how rights will be dealt with, especially for believers. Okay? There in 1962, in 1963, and 1973, there was 3 court cases that was heard about a verbal prayer offered in a school is unconstitutional. They considered it unconstitutional for your child to pray over his food. It was unconstitutional that they say is unconstitutional. But here's the thing. If we lose the majority, everything moral, everything moral, your moral compass, no matter what you believe in, is now going to be, to quote unquote to them, unconstitutional. So in 1962, in 1963, and in 1971, there was 3 court cases on prayer, a verbal prayer offered in school, and they said it was unconstitutional. Now, in 1965, 1981, and in 1991, Freedom of speech and press are guaranteed to students and teachers unless the topic is religion. So, in this book, The Original Intent, it talks about how they're attacking your rights, your God-given rights. And so that's what the Supreme Court race is all about. It's about protecting our God-given rights. And so no matter who you wanted to come out the primary, we got one last chance. We got one last chance to protect our God-given rights. And so we cannot repeat November. All right. And this is just starting off because we're going to talk about a couple of things. But we have to understand and we have to realize that what's at stake. Okay, this is the Supreme Court race. We have somebody that's said they're going to, and they came out of the primary and they said that they're going to vote the way they interpret the Constitution or the way that politics, the left side feel about the Constitution. And many people understand that they're trying to say that the United States Constitution is outdated, just like they're trying to say the Bible is outdated. They're trying to say that the Bible needs to be rewritten and interpreted a different way. And then they are saying that the Constitution needs to be rewritten and changed another way. Oh. So my thing is this, and you know what, J. Rod? If that happens and our Constitution is changed or they interpret it in any other way that they want to interpret it, then you guys are going to be in trouble. That's just the bottom line. And so what we have to do as the people, because I think we forget, but when I open this up, right? When I open it up the Constitution, and it starts off, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. We the people, it takes all of us. It doesn't take a party size. It takes all of us because a lot of times, you guys, we're being bamboozled when it comes to party size. We're being bamboozled. We're being lied to. We're being how should I say deceived. There's a lot of things happening behind closed doors with both parties that nobody really paying attention to. We have the first chair of the state party of Wisconsin. What is the call-in number? Oh, you want the call-in number? Well, let me set it up then. But we have the first chair of the Wisconsin Republican Party in the special election. First chair of the Wisconsin Republican Party. Wait a minute. In the special election. Hold on, I'm trying to see what just happened. Oh, in the spring election in Milwaukee for the mayor, what ended up happening is he supported a liberal, and he said it this way. he didn't support the liberal as the chair of the Republican Party. He supported the liberal as a person. And I was like, oh, really? So I can support, I am able to support somebody and do something because it's personal. So that means we split ourselves up into two people, right? I'm a pastor. And so if I go out and I do something out in the streets, um, if I go out in the streets and I smoke marijuana, it's not Pastor King that's smoking marijuana, but it's David King just smoking. The pastor's not there. It's just David King smoking the marijuana. So are you trying to tell me I can split my life so when I want to do wrong, I can just be David King, and when I'm ready to go back and do right, then I can be Pastor King? There's no way you can split it. If you hold a position and then you supporting the other side, it's nothing you can say to justify it when you are in a position. When you hold a position, it's nothing that you can justify that with. Either you are all the way in or you are all the way out. And so when we look at this thing, you guys, we fighting one another. We take our ball and we go home. But you know what? They're having lunch together. You know what? They had social gathering together. You know what? They had parties together. You know what? They call each other on the phone personally and meet up for dinner or a movie or whatever. But you are walking around hating one another simply because they're saying something or they done something that you don't like. So, Stacy, I got the number up there. So anybody want to call in, you are more than welcome to call in, and we can get the. Oh, I didn't even plug it in, and we can get this party started because we just really want to talk about some stuff. And the thing that we have to realize and understand is our freedom is really at stake. I know people say it when they're running for office and everything like that, but this time it's really up for grabs. Your constitutional right is up for grabs. So if we allow what happened in November to repeat itself in April, then you don't need no freedom fighter. Because what you gonna need them for? You're not going to need anybody to march or anything, because all of that is going to be gone. All of that is going to be over, because not because they stole it, but simply because we gave it away. Simply because we gave it away. Simply because we have not come to ourselves to realize what's at stake. And a lot of times, you guys, most of the time, we are in a fight for just one issue. We have to extend that we have more than just one issue, because once that issue is solved, then most of us, we just go home and do nothing. So you got to stop being a one issue person. You got to be looking at everything, the total person, the total man, your total life, whether it's wasteful spending, whether it's your freedom, whether it's education. It got to be more than just one thing. And because if it's not more than just one thing, then you're not really in the fight. And we have a lot of people that want to fight, but they only want to fight for one thing. They only want to fight. They only focus on one thing. And so we have to get to that place where we're dealing with more than just one thing. We have to get to that place where we're not going to stop until we got all our freedom back. We're not going to stop because we win one little battle. And that's not going to be. I saw something last night that I thought was amazing. And I have to say it like that. I thought it was amazing. And it was a very, very, very classy act. that I saw yesterday. And that was Judge Darrow when she gave her speech, how she said she loved this state, how she said she wished the outcome would have been better, but it is time to get behind Justice Kelly, and how she really represented Jesus Christ. She represented Jesus Christ. I take my hat off to her. That was awesome. That was a class act. That was amazing for her to get up there and to talk and to share and to let people know that, yeah, we need to do better. We gotta come together. We gotta understand the battle is not over. The fight is not over. The fight is just beginning. And so we gotta understand and realize that just because the primary is not over, we got to win in April. We got to make sure that we keep the majority in the Supreme Court. We got to make sure that we got somebody up there that is going to vote according to the Constitution and not according to their feelings or according to the agenda of the left or the agenda of the woke or the agenda of whoever. And I said this once, and I said again, that I don't care, and I want y'all to understand this. If I had a case in front of the Supreme Court judge and they ruled according to the Constitution and I didn't win, you know what? I would be okay with that, because I know they did what was right. I know they went according to the law and according to the Constitution. But if I win a case because somebody did something that I like to say not right, because if it's not lining up with the Constitution, then it's not right. I don't care who it is. I don't care what nobody says, because here's the thing about it. And if we be honest with ourselves, both sides is not always right. That's why we got the Constitution to protect us, because both sides is not always right. So we need to really, really get in, and we really need to get behind Justice Kelly, whether you like him or not, but you need to get behind him to protect your rights. Because it's not really about Justice Kelly right now. It's about our constitutional right, our state constitution, and the federal constitution. That's what it's about right now. And so it's not about our feelings anymore right now. We need to just suck it up, put our big boy draws on, and get behind and push him past the finish line so we can keep the majority in the Supreme Court. Let me see. Did I miss? Okay, let me. Because this is what it's about. It's about us doing what's right. It's about us making sure that whatever is up, right? Just like Milwaukee has to rise up, because elected officials. Oh, I like that. Let's see. What did he say? Both sides not concerned about the issues, but are lobbying for their pet issues overall agenda. And that's where we come in, Scott. You're right. That's where we come in, Scott. That's where we come in and hold people accountable. See, we always say, and we allow people to say accountability when it's election time, but when the election is over, there's no accountability. They just do things. And so this is why it's so important that we make sure that we are holding these people accountable for what is going on, because if we do not, then it's going to be bad for us. And if we allow the Wisconsin Supreme Court to switch the majority, then all of our rights. And here's the thing. I don't care if you're on the left, I don't care if you're on the right. I remember we was out not protesting. You know, it's funny. The left call it protesting, the right call it a rally. But we was out there. Okay, so we won't say protest, we say rally, make y'all feel better. So we was out in the rally, and we standing out there for our rights to protest and to assemble. And people was riding by, and they were sticking up their fingers, and they were saying things, and they were saying nasty things and stuff like that. And I remember talking to a guy, and I was like, don't get upset. And he was like, why not? I said, because that's what you standing out here for. You standing out here for freedom. You standing out here for rights, the rights of the American people, right? He said, yes. I said, so what you doing? You even standing out here for them to have the right to stick up their finger at you, for them to have a right to blow the horn, even though they don't agree with what you're doing. But they don't realize that you're also standing out here for their rights. So don't get upset because they're exercising the right that you're standing out here for. So whether you agree or not with them, we all out here standing for our rights. And the thing about it is, we have to be able to understand that and come together. Nothing will be fixed by either side. The only way it will be fixed if the people come together themselves. Because I'm gonna tell you something. There's good ideas on both sides. There's some that is not connected to, how should I say, the machine, that have great ideas and have a heart for people on both sides. There are people that there's a gentleman, and I know he doesn't mind me calling his name. So I can call his name, and I call him, his name is James Macon. That's his name, James Macon. And James Macon and I are good friends. And we would joke with one another when we talk to each other and everything. And James would say, there go my favorite Republican. And I'd be like, there go my favorite Democrat. And then James say to me when we talking, you know, you're really not a Republican. You're really in the middle. And I said, yeah, I know that. And so is you. And he was like, you're right. I am. And most of us is like that. We're really in the middle. We don't agree with the actions and the things that people are doing on both sides of the fence. We're not in agreement. You got Democrats that does not agree with what the Democrat Party is doing right now. You got people who say they're Republicans, doesn't agree with what the Republicans are doing right now. So it goes both ways. It goes hand in hand. And so many people are in that middle. And so when you come to that middle, you're not coming as a D or R. You're coming at we the people, for the people, by the people. And we're coming together to make our city, our state, our country better. You remember 9/11, right? When 9/11 happened, there was no Democrat, there was no Republican, there was no rich, there was no poor, there was no black, there was no white, there was no Latino, there was no Hmong. There was no other ethnic group. It was just one word, Americans. That's it. Everybody forgot what they were, and they came together, and they was Americans. And we was proud to be an American. We was proud. I remember when it happened. I remember how we started coming together. I remember how in the Tea Parties, and how things was at the Tea Parties. I remember how people was calling each other brother, and the people of God came out of their churches. I remember. See, all we got to do is understand what we stood for at that moment, and we can change anything with that kind of energy, with that kind of power, and with that kind of mindset. And we have to realize that there's good on both sides. Let's come to the middle. Let's come together and make our neighborhoods a better neighborhoods, our city a better city, our community a stronger community, and our state a better state. And we can do that, you guys. What we got to do is stop picking up our ball and going home. We got to stop throwing rocks because somebody got a D or R behind their name. Because I guarantee you right now, if you're getting ready to go to surgery and you need blood for that surgery, you are not asking them, did that blood come from a Democrat or a Republican? Did that blood come from a black person or a white person? Did that blood come from somebody rich or somebody poor? You didn't care because there's life in the blood. And so you needed that blood so you can live. And you didn't care about that. You didn't ask the doctor that was going to do the surgery, are you a Democrat or a Republican? Are you a racist? What do you stand for? You didn't ask those kind of questions. And you know what? To fix our city, to fix our community, to fix our state, we got to stop asking those kind of questions and say, how can you help? Or me walking up to you and say, how can I help? Because that's the goal. The goal is to make every last one of us, you hear me? Every last one of us have a better life, a better city, a better community. That's what we should be coming together to. We need to come together as one mind, one purpose, one goal is to make Milwaukee a safe and prosperous city or a home for us all. That's it. And if we can come together, there's things that we can do. Even the Bible said it. When they was building the Tower of Babylon, they was all on one mind, and God said there's nothing impossible to them because they was all on the same page, speaking the same language, doing the same thing. They had one goal. And what God had to do is he had to mix up their language so they couldn't accomplish what they was going to accomplish, because what they was trying to accomplish wasn't something good. And if we come together as a people, we got to come together in April. We got to come together again next February. We got to come together when it is not a race. So we need to come together to clean up our cities. We need to come together to help single moms. We need to come together to help our youth. We need to come together to help our seniors. We need to become a community again, a neighborhood, a village. That's what we got to become in order to be successful in any of these things. So I'm looking forward to working with people to make it better. And any time you have a selfish, and I saw somebody post that, let me say, where did it go? Oh, there it is. J-Rod said it. Themselves. When you make it about you, then it's going to always turn out bad. But when you make it about us, then we're always going to come out victorious. And we got to stop making it about ourselves. We got to stop having a selfish agenda. We got to stop and read between the lines and know who out here that is really out for themselves and not out for the people. And then we need to make sure that they never get in office, because they will sell you out the moment they get in office. Because why? It's not about you, it's about them. So we have to come together. I hope those of you that voted for Judge Jennifer will do exactly what she asks and get behind Justice Kelly so that our constitutional rights will stay intact. I pray that we would make up our mind to come together and work together. It's especially those of us that's part of the household of faith. It's no way that are part of the household of faith is not working together. It's not working together. We have to come together. We have to make sure that everything we do it to the glory of God. We have to make sure everything we do is not about us individually, but it's about us collectively. And so this is what we got to do. This is some of the things that we got to look at. This is some of the things we have to fight. I want to give a shout out to my friend, Lamar Madison, who made it past the primary up in Kenosha. I'm sorry. He's running for school board in Kenosha, and he made it past the primary. Congratulations to Lamar. Brother, we got you. We got your back. We're going to promote you. I will be having him on the show, as well as Justice Dan Kelly will be coming back on the show as well. And so I am looking forward to having those candidates back on, those that's running for Milwaukee School Board back on. We need to know them, not because they got a D or R behind their name. We need to see if they are really true. And so, and yep, we got to come together in a lot of things. And the thing that I have to say is this. Our selfish agenda, and we're not working together as a team, can make us lose everything. Check your egos at the door. We need to check them at the door. We need to make sure that everything we do is what God would have us to do, and that at the end of the day, that we will be able to look God in the face and say, you know what, Lord? I did it just because of you. I did exactly what you required of me. I did exactly what you wanted from me. And that's something that we have to come together and do. It takes all of us, every last one, every last one. You've been fighting for freedom since 2020. Since 2020, we've been fighting for freedom. Since 2020, we've been out here. 2020. Since 2020, a lot of you started in 20. That's great. We've been out here, but I've been out here even longer than that. But in 2020, I traveled the state fighting. I ended up in Whitelaw, Wisconsin. And we had a rally in Whitelaw, Wisconsin. We ended up in Madison holding church service on the state capitol. We traveled the state in 2020, 2021, 2022. And so we have to Rustin, you calling the wrong number. We have to look on the screen. The number's on the screen. You're calling the wrong number. So we have to not allow. We have to understand that all that work will be in vain if Justice Kelly lose. All of that work will be in vain if Justice Kelly lose. Because all people kept talking about constitutional right, my constitutional right, my constitutional right, my constitutional right. But if you do not elect someone that's going to fight for your constitutional right, then you lose. Because we got somebody that's in the race that says they're going to go against the Constitution if they make it to the Supreme Court. They already let you know where they stand. They're already letting you know that they will go against the Constitution. So it don't get no plainer than that. When somebody is telling you they're going to go against the Constitution, when somebody is telling you they don't care about the Constitution right now, they're not even going to follow. They're letting you know ahead of time, we're not following the Constitution. Because my interpretation of it is not what's right. We're going with our lobbyists, we're going with our party, and we're going to vote only party issue. And I'm going to rule based on my emotions and based on my party. It's on the screen, Russell. 414-585-9511. 414-585-9511. And be nice when you call in. Or I will cast out the devil. And I'm not calling you the devil. But you know how I do things. Yes, there it is, 414-585-9511. And so, you guys, what we got to look at and understand is this, that the things that we got to do, we got to come together. You can't talk to your friends who was supporting Judge Darrow and said, listen, I need you to support Kelly. I'm not asking you to like him, but we need him to keep the majority. And that's what we got to do. Y'all know when I ran for lieutenant governor, I always said, I don't want you to like me, but I need you to trust me that I'm going to do the right thing. It's not about like. Move our emotions out of the way and do what's right. And sitting home in April is not doing what's right. Writing in somebody else's name in April is not doing what's right. What happened in November was a misrepresentation of God, because everybody said that they was God. I beg the difference on this one. I gotta address this. I beg the difference on that one. And I'm gonna tell you why I beg the difference. Justice Hagedorn didn't vote the way people wanted him to vote, but he voted according to the law and the Constitution. And so that's where people get upset about. If you vote somebody in to vote only for the way you want them to vote, even though your vote might not be right at that moment or what you might want at that moment, is not meaning that they're not reliable. I think we have to look at it for what it is. I think we have to go. See, you know what I'm finding out is this. We got a lot of people that said they're constitutional conservatives, but they haven't really studied the Constitution to know what the Constitution says. That's why we teaching on Saturdays, we have the constitutional classes, and we're breaking it all the way down and answering all the questions. Because if we look at it for what it really says and what it really does, and what the Constitution is really saying to us, then don't you want somebody that is going to go according to the law or according to their emotions? Because this is why we're in the mess that we're in now, because we're getting people that is going to be loyal to one side or the other, not what's right, but how we feel. And that's where we lose and get in trouble sometimes. And as people of God, we want somebody with integrity that's going to do what's right, whether it's wrong or right. I'm a man of integrity, and those of you who really know me, you know I would tell it like it is, whether people like it or not. If they don't love me, they don't love me. So, you know, you guys, we have to look at this thing for what it really is. We vote people in. We're thinking that people is on our side, but then they're not standing for moral values. They just on our side. Because we had Republicans who said they was pro-life, but they was giving money to Planned Parenthood. You got Republicans who's in leadership, but they support liberals on election time. So if we on this, if we can't walk the straight and narrow and we can't be people of integrity, I love you too, Stacy. if we can't be people of integrity, if we can't be people, uh, if we just want people to go in there and vote only for us, then are we really standing for God? Are we really standing for integrity? If is our moral compass uh, lined up right? I mean, let's just look at this thing. We have to make sure that whatever we do, whatever we want done, is lining up with the Constitution. And if we don't know the Constitution, then we need to read it. So before, even when they getting ready to rule, you ain't got to know the whole Constitution. When they getting ready to rule on something, you at least need to know the law and the Constitution to see exactly what it says and then judge their vote based on the Constitution and the law. That's what we need to do. That's why in the federal Supreme Court says, you know what? We overstepped our boundary. We what we did was unconstitutional. So we're gonna fix it. So we overturned Roe versus Wade. So we're gonna overturn Roe versus Wade, and we're gonna put it back in the hands of the states. So that's all they did. And so they realized that what they did was unconstitutional. So they corrected. And so you want somebody that is going to fix anything that they done that was unconstitutional or that treaded on our God-given right. So, and that's something that we have to realize and understand. Wow. You know that, and I heard that too. But you know what? I am so sick of people saying things. Here's the only way I see Judge Kelly losing, and all of us. The beauty of God is we all have our own opinion. We all have our own mind and own thing. The only way I could see Judge Kelly losing if the people who love their freedom is not talking to their neighbors, if they're not talking to their children, if they're not talking and says, you know what, right now this is not about a Democrat or Republican. This is about your rights. This is about your right and that government stay out of your home. This is about your right when it comes to education. This is about your rights when it comes to the Second Amendment. This is about your rights when it comes to your freedom of speech. This is about your rights. This is not about this is the only way he can lose. This is the only way he can lose. If we don't open up our mouth and do what we're supposed to do, that's the only way he'll lose. If we sitting back and we took our ball home because the person we wanted didn't win, and we look like we sucking on rocks and lemon and all of that simply because the person we wanted didn't win, so we're not going to participate anymore. We're not going to carry on until April. That's the only way Judge Kelly lose, because one person can't do it by himself. He needs all of us to send him to the Supreme Court. It takes each and every one of us to get him there. Same way if Judge Darrow, if she would have won, we need to get behind her, and we would have need to push her past the finish line. It takes all of us. One person ain't gonna do it. He ain't gonna do it by himself. It takes us to understand what's at stake. That's what we have to do. Everybody keep thinking we living in a democracy. This is not a democracy. This is a constitutional republic. This is not a democracy. And we need to rise up and we need to stand up for what we believe in, or you're going to deliver your freedom to the woke agenda. That's what's going to happen. You're going to give your freedom. You might as well put them in a box, put a nice cute bow on it, and give it to them in April. Because if we don't get behind him, Really, J. Rob? If we don't do it, if we don't get behind him, he didn't lose, we lost. Michaels didn't lose the governor's seat. We lost. We turned it over for 4 more years. That's what we did. It wasn't him. Why do y'all think it's the individual? It's the people, because it's us. It's us coming together. It's us getting out there and spreading the word. It's us. And if us is not doing anything, then we are the ones who's turning over our rights. And we got to understand that. And I know we don't want to hear it like that. I know we don't want to pay it no attention like that, but that's the reality of it. That's the reality. We don't do anything. We don't say anything. Then it's on us. We take our basketball and go home and waiting on 4 more years. Might not be 4 more years. The way things are going, it might not be 4 more years. If we don't fix this ourselves, if we don't show that we can come together now, when are you going to show it that we're going to come together? Because I believe now we at 13 out of 14, or are we 14 out of 15 statewide races that we have lost? That's what we got at. Yes, there is a difference between doing it and then doing it the right way. Right, because we was told practice make perfect, but here's the thing. Practice do make perfect, but you can practice something totally wrong and you are perfectly wrong. So you're right, doing it the right way. But here's the thing about it though. We are at a place, we're at a fork of the road. We either keep our rights or we turn them over. Which one is going to be? Keep our rights, or are we going to turn them over? Are we going to give them to somebody else and let them govern our lives? Are we going to give it to somebody else and they're going to be able to tell us what we can say? Especially those of you who say you follow God. Do you understand what is getting ready to happen if that happens? If that liberal Supreme Court justice win this election and they got the majority, do you understand what's really going to take place? Do you really understand what might happen? Well, Russ, I'm going to tell you how. If the majority is doing it, if the masses is doing it the wrong way, and the remnant, how do the remnant fix it? Here's the problem. Nobody ever tell them they doing it the wrong way. Nobody sat down and had a cup of coffee and say, why are you doing it that way? Do you know if you do it this way, this is what happens? But if we keep going this way, this is the direction we're going in. We're not doing that. You know why? Because we're too prideful, and we go home and we sit down and we suck our thumbs and we cuss out the TV and we get mad and we listen to conservative radio stations so they could talk about what's going on. But instead of them saying, hey, you need to get behind that because their candidate didn't win, they're not even talking about it. So when you don't take time to build relationship, when you take time to build relationship, I didn't tell you to, no, Russ. I'm not saying going to the party. See, that's the problem. Everybody want to fix everybody wants to fix the party. Everybody want to go in there thinking they the one with the great ideas that they're going to go in there and fix the party. No, you ain't going. I never seen anybody who had a problem with their car. Let's say the starter wasn't acting right. I never seen nobody who had a Toyota Camry, and their Camry starter went out. Never seen anybody go to Toyota, fly and go to Toyota and says, you know what, y'all doing everything wrong. We need to do this. No, you worked on your own individual car. You made sure your car was running. Stop trying to take over a party. You guys is not going to take over a party. You might take over a county chair, but you're not going to take over a party. And by the time you take over a party and try to change it to the way you want it changed, guess what happens? Our freedom will be gone. Our children will be in bondage. Because that is why there's so much infighting now, because everybody's trying to tell everybody how to do it, and nobody want to come together and work together. So you got all this infighting. So the competition, I'm not going to use the word the enemy, but the competition is looking and saying, we ain't even got to practice. Look what they doing. We ain't got to work hard. Look what they doing. We ain't got to spend a lot of money. They too busy fighting themselves. They winning this for us. Look at them. They going home with their basketball. Look at them. They're pouty. Look at them. They giving up until next time. So we're winning, and we're going to keep winning. Why? Because they don't realize that they're not the competition. They're supposed to be on the same team. The competition is on the other side. That's why when you watch football teams and you see them fighting one another, the other team is like, yes, they lost focus. Yes, they lost their morale. Yes, they're not even on the same page. And that's what they do. They look at the infighting with the Republican parties. They're looking at the infighting with the county chair boards and everybody fighting and trying to be the next county chair. They're looking at it like people say, oh, I got an idea. I'm going to go in here and change the whole party system. You ain't going to change the whole party system. You got to get resolutions change to be voted in. And I mean, you guys got a lot that you got to deal with, and it's not going to happen. What you have to do is go to your family and friends, get the people around you to understand how important it is to keep your rights and have that conversation. And why it's important they need to vote in April. But if you think you're going to go change somebody's life and change some things, you got another thing coming. It is not going to happen. You're not going to go change the machine. It's not going to happen. I had a young man who was running for Congress, and he says, I'm going to win my election, and then I'm going to become Speaker of the House. And I said, really? He said, yes. I said, you know what your problem is? He said, what's my problem? You don't know how this works. You know how many people are waiting in line to become Speaker of the House, and you are a freshman, and you think they're going to vote you in as Speaker of the House? You're like, yeah. I'm like, do you even understand the process? But they think they're going to be able to go in and change some things. It is not going to happen. We have to understand and realize that the machine is not what needs to be changed. The mindset of the people needs to be changed. You change the minds of not all the masses, just a few. Just a few. And you'll find out. You remember, what's the movie? Remember the movie, Remembering the Titans, or to Remember the Titans? And you remember how in that movie, Remembering the Titans, where the black captain and the white captain wasn't getting along, and how they both was on defense, but they wasn't getting along. They were fighting one another and everything. And then the white captain said something about the black captain and how his players was playing versus his players was playing. And you know what the black captain said to the white captain? Attitude reflects leadership. And a light bulb came on. And guess what happened? They became best friends. They had one of the best defense. They became best friends. They became close. They had a conversation. They went into each other's world. He went over his house. He went over his house. He went and played ball. He went and played ball. And those whose minds was not ready to shift yet, he said, I'm still going to do the right thing. So he didn't even hang out with them anymore. He hung out with his new friend. And see, all you got to do is build a conversation. And when you start the conversation, you can start building relationship, because everything is really based on relationship. And if we ain't got relationship, we ain't got nothing. We got a bunch of folks trying to tell each other they wrong. So we're not talking to one another, we're talking at one another. And this is why we got to change some things. Why we got to talk. Why you taking your ball and going home? Do you know what's at stake? Why you posting? You see, if you got morals, I'm not even going to say if you belong to God, a person with morals, if you see a post where somebody is saying they're not going to support Justice Kelly and you believe in your rights, you ought to have a conversation with them. Say, how dare you? Now you jeopardizing my rights. Now you are trying to deliver my rights over to the hands of the liberals who's going to go against the Constitution. You told me you was a constitutional conservative. So why are you going home? You told me you're a freedom fighter. So why are you going home? You told me you was a patriot. So why are you going home at the most crucial time when we're supposed to be fighting for freedom? Why are you going home? Why are you leaving? Why are you quitting? The fight ain't over. Freedom fighters, patriot groups, constitutional people. Why are you going home? Why are you taking your ball and going home? Why are you making posts speaking against Justice Kelly instead of making posts telling people, okay, we got to get behind Justice Kelly? Because the fight is not over. It's not over. And if you think it's over, then I'm questioning something. This was just the primary. We got April. And we got a lot of work to do before April. We got to have conversations with people that you might not want to have a conversation with. Because I'm sure finna do another barbershop real talk with the people in the barbershop and tell them how important it is that your Constitution stay intact. So no matter what you're doing in life, because you're an American and you have a right to do it because you're an American, that you don't have to agree with me, just agree with me on your rights. Not my rights, but your rights. The fight is not over. And if you see those kind of posts, you ought to check them. You ought to give them a piece of your mind, because now they're playing with your rights. You ought to tell them what's wrong with you. What are you thinking about? What's in that head of yours? Those are the things that you ought to be saying. Those are the things that you ought to be talking right now. Anybody that says they're not going to support, this is when you ought to really have those conversations. These are the time where you really should give them a wake-up call. This is the time. Everything is on the line, April. Everything is on the line, April. And if we are at a place where we are too prideful to keep fighting, I was always taught, the Romans had a saying, win the battle or come back on your shield. We need to win the battle. Now it's time for some real. Okay, you can do that with some people. You can be nice like that with some people and say, "Excuse me, I don't want to offend you, but why do you feel like that?" I'll let you do that, Russ. Mm-mm. No, it's get your butt up and let's keep going. We ain't got time to sit down. We ain't got time to stroke your ego. It's too much at stake. We need to get you up, and get your butt back out there in this fight because the fight is not over. So we gotta do more than just, I'm sorry, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to insult you. You insulting yourself when you take your basketball and run home. All that other stuff, you guys, we gotta put to the side. We gotta put to the side. We can't we can't even use the Robin Voss mess for this. We need to make sure we got everybody out in April. That's what we need to do. Y'all can go back to trying to destroy each other's life afterwards. But right now, we need every hand, all men's on deck. We need everybody. We need everybody to get on board. We need everybody to make sure that they still moving, still going, still doing, still promoting, still encouraging, letting everybody know, sound the alarm. Your rights is at stake. Your rights is at stake, no matter who you are. Churches, your rights is at stake on how you be able to preach, how you be able to teach, how you be able to talk. Thank God that I'm a PMA. I can say what I want. But you guys are going to be in some trouble. If you guys let your rights go, you're going to be in some trouble. So it's up to you guys. It's up to each and every one of you. What are you going to do? Are you going to give up now? Or are you going to stand up and fight? Your candidate didn't win? That's okay. But our right is still at stake, so we need to keep going. I never seen anybody who watched their favorite football team and the quarterback they like don't start. Is not the starting quarterback. I never heard anybody says, well, I'm not going to watch football no more because he's not the starting quarterback. Yo, right. I'm going to boycott football because the quarterback that I want to start didn't start. Nobody. Nobody. And that's how it is. The primary was just the tryouts. Now we got a starter, and we need to get behind with everything. Those of you in Milwaukee, look at the people that's running for alderman. Your livelihood is at stake. Look and see what they stand for. And in one of the district race, I'm not going to say which one. I'm going to let you guys go do the homework. But in one of the district races, there's a candidate that believes in the lockdowns, believe in the mask mandates, and believe in forcing people to take the carrot. You better know these people that you are um, voting for and know what they stand for and what you stand for. Because if you select the wrong person, they have they'll have 10 months to make your life miserable in the laws that they try to pass in these next 10 months after they get elected. So you guys, Salida State, do your homework. Know who you're voting for. Know who you're supporting. You need to vet everybody. Find out what they're standing for. So I just want to come on and just talk for a minute. But we have a long way to go. Milwaukee, we got school board candidate races, and you guys need to have a conversation with the school board candidates. I believe there's $506 million unspoken for right now. That there's no paper trail where that money went. I think you need to find out where that money went. Those aldermen, you got to see what they're standing for, what they're going to go do for you. Not because they're black, not because they're female, not because they're a Democrat, not because they're a Republican, if there are Republicans out there that's running, but because of the person that they are, and if they lining up with your morals, your values. That's very important. So, not by name because you heard that name before, but you got to know who you up, who's out there running, and who you need to support. Think you need to have a couple of more forums, find out where they really stand, and then look at their life to see what their answers is in the form lines up with their life. Because that's what you need to do. So I just wanted to come on this snowy day. I just grateful for all of you guys. I love each and every one of you. We got a lot of things coming up. We're excited about that we're doing. Tomorrow is the introduction to the Kingdom Summit. It's on Zoom. The flyer is on our page. All you have to do is go there, get the meeting ID number. There is no password because you will be in the waiting room until we let you into the summit. So there, you don't need a passcode. That'll get you in the waiting room, and then we will bring you in from the waiting room. So I'm just grateful for you guys. I love each and every one of you. Let me see, what did Russ say? I love each and every one of you guys. And so let's make this easy on us all, and let's talk to people. Let's make sure that our rights stay intact once and for all, because all kind of stuff might come through real fast. They might come after school choice. They might come after your Second Amendment. They might come after um, um, what, abortion. They might come after We don't know what they're going to come after if that side gets in control. The way you talk, the way you talk. So I pray that everybody will begin to look at your family, your friends, and have a conversation. Take them out for coffee. If they smoke cigars, go to the cigar bar with them and have a cigar. Just have a conversation with them. Follow us on Apple. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on iHeartRadio. Follow us on Player FM. Follow us on what's the other one? Amazon Audible. Just go to them and download it and begin to follow us on those platforms as well. We're going to be setting up some teaching, pre-recorded teaching on the Constitution, pre-recorded teaching of the Word of God, and then pre-recording conversation with other people. So, but we still will be doing our podcast video live from YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Rumble. So we're excited that the platforms are getting larger. We're excited that we are now from our other audio platforms. We are in the United States. We are in Singapore. We are in Spain. No, not Spain. Yeah, Spain. I'm sorry, not Spain. India. We are in India. We are in Belgium. We are in Singapore and the United States. So follow us. Go to your Apple, go to iHeartRadio, go to Spotify, go to Amazon Audible, and begin to follow us on those as well. I'm looking forward to it. We are doing some good things, some great things, and I'm excited. Tune in tomorrow as we begin the teaching of, we'll be doing the teaching on the kingdom of God. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be challenging. It's going to make you think about what you thought you knew and what you thought was true versus what is really true. So I'm excited about it. Again, the number is on the flyer on our page, our Facebook page. We do have it on Twitter. We do have it on Instagram. We do have it on Telegram. We do have it on LinkedIn. We do have it on WeMe. We do have it on Getter. So we got them all over. Join in with us to be a part of what God is doing through us. And we just want you guys to know we love you. We honor you. We adore you. Tune in Saturday at 6:30 as we go and teaching the Wisconsin Constitution. Until then, God bless.
Yeah.